The new championship season is nearly upon us, and that means fans up and down the land have a new kit to feast their eyes on. There are plenty of designs to get excited about here, and some so dull you'd find them more interesting watching them go round in the washing machine. Here's our ranking of them. 23. Rotherham United. Who knew the Millers could be such pioneers came to football kits? They've somehow managed to create a kit that looks like it was solely designed using a computer game. The word art sponsor on the front only serves to heighten that mood on what is a disastrously poor shirt. Honestly, a Sunday League team could do better than this. 22. Bolton Wanderers. Image, Bolton Wanderers FC. My word, this is boring. Very little to separate this kit with last season's, and most of the changes they have made have just made it worse. The new collar is just really weird, and the trim at the bottom is quite frankly ridiculous. 21. Preston North End. Image, Preston North End FC. Again, very little to separate this from last season's effort. This is a real yawn fest and looks too much like a Tottenham kit for our liking. It almost looks like they found a load of old unused Spurs shirts off the back of a lorry and decided to just slap a badge and a new sponsor on. Painfully unimaginative. 20. Sheffield Wednesday. Meh. It's nice to see the stripes back, but this isn't really a particularly exciting number and the printing on it looks a little cheap. Kind of looks like one of those knockoffs you'd see on a stall in Thailand or somewhere. It's reasonably inoffensive, though, and some fans may well appreciate its simplicity, as well as the sensibly sized collar. 19. Millwall. The Lions have celebrated their 25th year at the Den with this number, which is inspired by the pinstripe design worn for that 1993 quarter season. However, the potential for this kit is largely unfulfilled. The collar is really deep for a football top and it looks a little bit odd, while there's something a tad weird about being sponsored by a drainage company. Perhaps that's just us. 18. Sheffield United. So many questions here. Why is the sponsor in green? It looks really out of place against United's famous red and white stripes, which bizarrely disappear when you get to the back. Why? It looks like two kits sewn together. This design is a little bit all over the place for our taste. 17. Brentford. Image, Brentford FC. This one's smart enough, but aside from changing the sleeves from red to white, it's hard to see anything all that different here from last season. Not bad, but any Bees fans that don't snap one up are unlikely to be losing any sleep over it. 16. QPR. Image, QPR FC. Okay, so there's not really all that much between this one and last season's effort. In fact, it's practically the same shirt, just with a red trim. Despite the lack of imagination in this update, there's not all that much to take issue with. Something different next season would be nice, though. 15. Nottingham Forest. As with Millwall's kit, Macron appear to have put together a really odd-looking collar on this effort, although for some reason it's not quite as weird as the Millwall one. The sponsor looks much better too, despite being yet another betting company. Seriously, why so many? A decent effort, but there's definitely room for improvement. 14. Bristol City. Image, Bristol City FC. For us, this is a step down from last season's pinstripe effort and reminds us a little too much of a Middlesbrough shirt. It's not that this is a bad kit, it's just really lacking any kind of excitement. We like how the sponsor matches the design of the collar and sleeves, but otherwise this is quite bland. 13. Wigan Athletic. Image, Wigan Athletic FC. There's so much right with this kit. An imaginative design, the sponsor fits nicely, no gimmicky additions made just for the sake of it. And yet, the green brings it plummeting back down to earth. Looks a little like a plastic bag from a well-known camping retailer. Respect the boldness, but it's not quite worked. Lose the green and this would be much higher. 12 Derby County image, Derby County FC, not too much to take issue with here. Umbro have rolled out the smart stacked diamond logo on the sleeves of pretty much all of their shirts this year, and it is a pretty lovely addition here. A clean and smart effort here, with very little wrong, although it does lack the excitement needed for a higher rating. 11 Norwich City image, Norwich City FC, the basic design of this shirt is immense. The pattern on the top is a delicious hark back to the 90s where eye-catching kits were king. Anyway, we really like where they were going on this one, but it's ultimately held back by the sponsor name, which doesn't quite fit. Shame as this kit should be higher. 10. Hull City image, Hull City Tigers, another very good effort from Umbro here. This is a decent update on what was a very good design last season. The stripes with the line through the middle might not be to everyone's taste, but we think it works quite nicely. 9. Ipswich Town image, Ipswich Town FC, potentially a bit of a Marmite kit this one. Not everyone will be keen on the red Adidas stripes, but we think it all works rather well given. The one big criticism is the awful logo of yet another nondescript gambling company that probably won't even exist in a couple of years. Still, otherwise it's pretty good, and we can certainly see this being a favorite with future retro kit enthusiasts. 8. Stoke City image, Stoke City FC, much better from Macron here. There's no ridiculous collar, and the one they have used is actually quite nice. The white trim around the lettering of the sponsor makes it fit very nicely with the rest of it and adds a nice level of vibrancy to it all. Having said that, it's still a little too safe to really be considered a top kit. 7. Blackburn Rovers image, Blackburn Rovers FC, really good stuff here. Blackburn Rovers have marked their return to English football's second tier with a really good kit. The club has reverted back to the Cambridge blue that was donned when Rovers became founder members of the Football League, and this is a really great modern reboot on a classic design. Really good work. 6. West Bromwich Albion image, West Bromwich Albion FC, this is something of a classic design for West Bromwich Albion, and features the thicker stripes reminiscent of the one worn during a better era for the club. This sponsor doesn't take anything away from what is a simple, yet elegant effort. Should be a hit with Baggies fans, this one. 5. Birmingham City image, Birmingham City FC, we were big fans of Birmingham's kit last season, and they've clearly pulled it off again. Adidas have once again kept it really simple, putting a thicker and far more pronounced white trim at the top of the design. The three stripes, unlike other Adidas shirts this season, appear to still be under the arms rather than on the sleeves, which we thought we'd be disappointed with, but it kind of works. Overall, another very smart design. 4. Leeds United image, Leeds United FC, nowhere near as good as last year's, but then deep down we knew that Leeds were unlikely to top that. Then again, this is still a very smart kit, although we're struggling to think of a single Kappa kit that we haven't loved in all honesty. Fair to say that this would probably have earned a better ranking had the bar not been set so high last season. 3. Swansea City, the new Swansea City home shirt, aside from the strange half-and-half collar, this is actually a very good design. The black might not be to everyone's taste, but it fits in well with the rest of it. The sponsor logo adds a nice bit of color too, although we have to admit, we prefer the slight tweak made by one Swans fan earlier in the summer. 2. Middlesbrough, for the first time since 1987, Hummel have put together a Middlesbrough kit and they haven't disappointed. This effort screams with continental sophistication. It's so stylish we can easily imagine Fabrizio Ravanelli wearing this with a pair of Ray-Bans, smoking a thin cigarette on a narrow cobbled street somewhere outside a little Italian coffee shop. Obviously Hummel is from Denmark, but you get the idea. 1 Aston Villa, image, Aston Villa FC, oh wow. Aston Villa might be having a few problems off the pitch, but that's not stopped them from producing a stunker of a kit. It's the result of a collaboration between the club, Luke chapter 1977 and Fantix, who are described as a global leader in sports garments. The end result is a kit that will have football hipsters purring. The decision to relegate the blue sleeves to a trim is a gamble, but in our opinion it pays off. Sensational.